markets are popping off everywhere, but it's got to be in a metro location where we've got that long-term sustainability. But Perth right now, I mean, Perth, the data is showing that there's a lot of people wanting to move over there, and there's obviously not enough housing. Rents have been rock solid. Properties I've got there at the moment have just jacked up heaps, and the properties that are being sourced as well, really all the data is pointing to Perth. Queensland as well, but we're really seeing a lot more of that value in Perth at the moment. Look, low socio-economic areas have been getting a bad rap for many years, but if you look at the data, they're probably some of the best performing. You know, Mount Druitt got a rap, Logan got a rap, you know, all the areas of Perth, Armidale, things like that as well, all got raps. But if you look at the data, these areas are just increasing, and there's not enough stock for the people that need to live there. So those affordable options, you know, where they're getting a bad rap, are turning out to be really, really solid investments. Negative gearing's in place because the government can't build properties fast enough. Yes, you're getting a tax deduction. Yes, it's one of the most, you know, friendly tax concessions in the world. But if the government, you know, could build all these houses, then, you know, some of these things might change. But, you know, it's something that will still continue to be around, and it's something that is providing housing to people in order to get them having a roof over their head, so the government doesn't have to cover the cost of it. Look, you can buy into all the negative media and all the doom and gloom out there and how hard it is to buy property. And yes, there are aspects where it's bull. It's really, really hard to get in, but that's where you've got to look outside the box. You've got to kind of change what's up here and see what is possible. You know, starting with a small investment property for 200,000 is not a bad option. When it doubles and goes to 400,000, then you use that equity to go buy that place you want to live in. You know, rather than thinking you have to save up 150,000 and that property is going to take you a long time to get into, you've got to think outside the box. So you can either basically sit on the sidelines and keep whinging about it, or you get active and look at options that you can do. Yeah, so the typical loan process for us, obviously we would have a conversation on the phone, get an understanding of what you're looking for, or we can send you the link. First of all, we send a magic link to you where you fill out an online broker form and you fill out the documents. We'll obviously review that information, ensuring that you've got everything to us. Once we get all your documents, we'll review it, and then we'll have another phone conversation to talk about which option you might have. You might only have one, you might have 10, you might have 30. So we need to kind of play a little game of guess who and knock down what's appropriate and what's not appropriate and who's who, to work out those best options. And there might be 2 or 3 options that you want to go with. So depending on your rate, your preference, loan term, loan purpose, will determine which lender that we go with. So once we get all those documents and understanding, we'll then obviously send you through a draft recommendation. You double check the numbers and say, yep, that looks sweet. And then we'll package it up and send it across to the lender. The lender will have a look at our work, our checks, make sure it's all sweet. If they have any questions or queries, they might ask 1 or 2 questions, and then we should get that approval. In most cases, we'll be aiming for that one-touch approval. And once you get that approval, then your loan documents will get issued. Our settlements team will run through that with you and make sure you get that all settled into your next step.